Good evening, Warband. What is going on? I apologize for the lag when it comes to StreamYard. StreamYard has been doing horrible lately, and it's starting to piss me and everybody else off. The lagging and the disconnections and stuff is kind of getting out of control. But hopefully it will get resolved. But besides that, hopefully you guys are here for some gems about to drop on y'all today. And just gonna talk about things from my perspective because this topic came out of nowhere. This is gonna be a topic that I was thinking about for a few hours today. And it's about the coping and seething epidemic and society, especially in the West, is a crab in a bucket society as a whole. And I'll be able to explain why. I'll explain why. But before I begin, let me check out the comments right quick before I go on my rant. Hey, what's going on, Jabba? What's going on, Indie MGTOW? Phil Rabbit, you back as usual. Dark Blade, what's going on, man? Kono, you're back, of course. Rishi. Oh, yeah, you're pretty early to join the live stream. I damn. But hey, if you wanna join in, let me know. Rio, what's going on? Singletown Bachelor, what's going on, man? And I know that you haven't been getting notified about the stream. I'm pretty sure that, Susan isn't really too happy about me spitting out facts about what's going on in society today. Okay. More and more people are not getting no notifications from me. But hey, it's all good. You guys pretty much know I do live streams around this time anyway. So taking off this jacket. Before we begin, if you want to support your boys here at Yeetus, if you want to support the Warband, you can go ahead and click on those two links on top of the chat and donate to paypal.me/Sir Yeetus or Cash App /Sir Yeetus, or you can do the super chats, or you can do the super thanks, or just watch. I don't give a shit, okay? Because listening to what we have to say and having these conversations is what's more important in the end, okay? Because the money's for the art. The donation thing is always optional, but I highly advise you to engage in these conversations, gentlemen. All right, let's do this. The topic today, the coping and seething epidemic and crabs in a bucket. So you guys noticed that things are not looking too hot for modern women, Western women. I've noticed they're getting a little bit more unhinged, a little bit more desperate to the point where they are going out of their way to call men like us incel immediately. Are you an incel? Misogyny, this and that. Anytime that you point out anything of what they're doing is not right or wrong, or if it's borderline shaming to them, they are instantaneously just gonna attack you like a German Shepherd, like just like all up in your face, like massages, bark, bark. Like what the fuck? Listen, I'm telling you that these female teachers shouldn't be messing with these students. Misogyny, incel. Like, what? Crazy. So, as more and more of this is happening throughout society, of more women are getting more desperate and more aggravated towards men that are more willing, because once again, more and more men are willing to call out women's BS these days. All right, I'm not the only channel on YouTube. I'm not the only channel on the platform that's saying, "Hey, right now, things are not looking good. Things are not as comfortable as it is as before, and it's going to get worse. Get your act together, or you're not going to be having a good time when the recession hits." Because it's already talks about prices going to be doubling during the summer. But of course, they don't give a fuck about that, right? They give a fuck about keeping up with the Kardashians and get their nails did. So I believe that it's been happening for a while now, but now I can officially say that there is a coping and seething epidemic. It is getting so bad to the point where they are lying through their teeth through to the moon about the position that they're in as model women, how things are getting bad and getting worse around them, and how it is not their fault on why they're in that position in the first place, right? Because when men get called out, oh, it's all fine and dandy, man up, whatever, figure it out. But once we give them that same energy, right? Because they want to be equal to us, they want to be equal. Oh, oh, the foaming in the mouth, the rage that they go towards us when we simply say, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong. Maybe you should be hopping on 100 dudes if you want to have a serious relationship. Maybe you should not be committing a paternity fraud. Maybe you should not be relying on OnlyFans for your only source of income and expecting people to take you seriously later and expecting your kid to not be bullied down the line." Oh, they just go nuts. They don't even have a counter argument. They just attack you as a person. So I'm like, there's a lot of coping around here, a lot of coping and seething, just attacking and lashing out on anyone and anything that uh, doesn't adhere to their realities, that doesn't that doesn't bow to her will, because in every model woman's mind, for some reason these days, they're just as good or better than Beyonce in her prime. But any woman that has her reality, has her delusions challenged, she immediately lashes out at you instantaneously with heinous, vile venom in their mouths. So, of course, they're going to be attacking mainly men because men are the one that's trying to hold them accountable, right? And the reason that they're lashing out in the first place because they know that we are right in what we're saying. Right now, the boat on the west ain't looking too safe right now. I'm seeing a leak over here, a leak over there. There's a good amount of cracks and water starting to seep in on the boat. Uh-oh. Are you going to help me fix the boat, or are you just going to sit there and do nothing and pretend that you're Queen Cleopatra until we are underwater like the Titanic? But of course, right? They're once again they're just going to lash out at you. You don't know what you're talking about. Men ain't shit. We don't need men. Go to war and die. That's all you're good for. All right, all right. Just know that when the recession does hit, a lot of men we have proof of what you've done. We have proof on how you treated men when you had it good because of us. We have proof on how you really feel about us. To pretty much sum it up, it's pretty much penis envy at the end of the day. Just to sum everything up, put everything that we talk about as men right now in 2022, encompass it into one little tiny ball, one tiny little summary, one phrase: penis envy. Because they know no matter what they try to do, no matter how much they LARP, no matter how much they try to get some type of transition, no matter what it is, they need men. And they hate us for it. I'm talking about they need men for survival. And it seems that we did it too good of a job, because now that the inflation is slowly starting to rise and certain food products like baby food, the formula, is disappearing off the shelves, right? There's a bunch of single mothers out there, gentlemen. They don't have a man to help them out. So now they're freaking out. Oh, where am I gonna get the food? Where am I gonna get the food? Oh no, I can't leave my kid in the house by himself. But at the same time, I have to drive hours to a certain place. I can't leave him with my grandparent, with his grandparents. So now they're, screeching at the government to have them do something, right? But it's all just one big cope of what's going on. Coping and seething a model women, they're about to realize, like, holy moly, maybe we're not as strong and independent as we thought we were, right? But as I always say, you guys always hear me say this, they never learn until it's too late. They never learn until it's too late. Okay. Even if they have it in the back of their minds, once again, cope. They're coping hard on how reality is bring them back down to humbleness, right? Not all the way, just a little bit, just a little bit. That's why when I say with the coping and seething, right, they eventually turn into crabs in a bucket, right? Because on top of the coping and seething, they turn to other women, mainly young women, and they're trying to get as much validation from other women, younger women as well, on the decisions that they've made, that they're, mid 30s, career woman, single mother, no family, all alone, cats in an apartment, maybe with a bunch of wine or whatever it is, on some antidepressants. They want as much validation as possible from other women, and young women are very impressionable, right? So when these older women, right, they're in the mid 30s and higher, or older, they love to go on social media and brag about how great their lives are, how phenomenal it is, how strong, independent, sexual liberation, men ain't shit, we don't need a man. But then they go ahead and cry behind closed doors. All right. And that's another reason why I say, all this situation is happening right now, how more aggressive they're being towards anybody that holds them accountable, is just cope. It's just seething and coping. And then when they go over to other women, especially younger women, and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm doing the exact opposite of what I'm doing. I'm not happy, but I'm gonna put on a facade to make you feel like what I've done was the right thing to do." I'm just saying, gentlemen. I know we've talked about this before, but we definitely need to emphasize. We definitely need to emphasize on how crazy things are getting when it comes to when just a slight um uh adversity, a slight challenge, a slight obstacle that we need to go over, like inflation. They just fold. They fold like a lawn chair. Instead of finding a solution, they just lashing out at the government, lashing out at other women who did a better job with their choices, that are married with kids, that have a husband to rely on, lashing out at other men that pretty much said, "I told you so." They're lashing out at everybody. They're not trying to look for a solution. They're just looking for help. And if you don't help them, if you don't help their delusional dystopia to keep running, their lifestyle to continue, they just break down and cry. They just fold. And they think that this is bad now. They really believe this is bad now. They obviously never dealt with an actual recession before. Because the last recession that we had was around what, 13 years ago, 12 years ago. And I believe this upcoming recession will make the previous recession that we had in 2008 look like a walk in the park. Us men, oh, It's too easy. We already know the game. We've known the rules since the dawn of time. It's either we adapt or perish. It is what it is. Whether we're alone, whether we're in a group, we thrive or we just out of the gene pool. It is what it is. Right now, with all the variables that are going on, especially with the decaying of Western society, the the coping and seething of all these feminists and male feminists and simps. Oh, it's gonna be like the Wild Wild West out there. And like I said before in my previous videos, why don't people learn? See, this is why history is important. This is why I'm not the type of guy to solely focus on video games 24/7, focus on TV shows 24/7, focus on fake news, media, whatever it is. You know, I actually go out there and try to pay attention to world events whenever I can because people that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it, right? In some instances, things go in a cycle. So, what happens if war breaks out in the West? We see what happened in Ukraine. Not a peep from feminists in sight. So instead of them proving once and for all that men and women can be side by side, equality and stuff, they literally just yeeted out of town. So meanwhile, when there's a bunch of dead Ukrainian and Russian soldiers, right, piling around the Donbass area, Mariupol, Kharkiv, etc., we have a bunch of Russian or Ukrainian women with their kids already willing to go for a next man, go for the next guy. And once again, gentlemen, you have to learn from history. All right. Women are willing to sleep with the enemy before your body turns cold. It is what it is. It is what it is. Once something crazy happens, such as war, 9 times out of 10, she's not your girl no more. So let's go on the economic route. I also explained before Venezuela. You saw what happened in Venezuela with the economic collapse, and they collapsed hard. Countless women, all right, regardless of their backgrounds, whether they were doctors, nurses, librarians, teachers, caregivers, police women, whatever it is, they all dropped what they were doing and they try to do the quickest escape to the northern countries in South America and beyond, right? The farthest they travel to is Mexico. What do? Do they try to get another job as fast as possible? No. They were out there on the street in masses looking for help, looking for that gullible simp to go in and save the day, right? All walking all up on the streets, trying to get something to eat or just find some gullible simp to latch on. So when I explain those two situations, gentlemen, the war when it comes to Ukraine or the economic collapse that happened in Venezuela, in my opinion, both is likely to happen in the West. War and economic collapse. Ooh, ooh, man. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I can see it happening. If it's not war on the outside, it'll definitely be war on the inside. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there, gentlemen. Because if they were truly strong, independent, and don't need a man, they'll be having the very same conversations we're having right now. But they're not. Because why? At the end of the day, in their subconscious minds, in the bottom of their heart, they know they need men. They know that they have to rely on men. And at the end of the day, that's why they pretty much hate men in the first place. I'm already about to go on a hunting trip this year, if it's possible. I'm definitely gonna be learning how to hunt, skin, and all that stuff. Cause gentlemen, that's a very important thing to learn about. Because unless it's somebody you know that's very close, you can't even trust your neighbor. At times you can't even trust your family members. You gotta be able to hold your own, or it's game over. That's the law of the land. That's the law of the jungle. And once again, they really believe that, men, especially men that are aware of what's happening, um, when shit hits the fan, they're gonna go and be a Captain Saber 304 with a bunch of women or a woman by herself. No, no, because that equals a trap. It's trap. That is a trap. I am not going out there. No, she won't even get near my door if I still have a some type of residence. Because as soon as I open up the door, as soon as that happens, anything could happen in a bad way. um, but with this coping and seething, you guys can see it more and more often. It's more prevalent. It is getting pretty interesting, and things didn't even get that bad yet. It's only the tip of the iceberg. But then on top of that, since they're coping and seething, there are going to be major crabs in a bucket with other women, especially younger women, bringing them down as well, just so they can feel validated of their poor choices and their horrible behaviors that they exhibited for years, maybe even decades. And now, bam, if things do hit the fan, guess who's on their own? There's no husband, there's no man beside her. There's no guarantee for a man to give her guaranteed protection. She's on her own. And that is the worst possible position for a woman to be in a crazy situation like that. I tell you what. But my bad for the rant, guys. My bad. Let me start reading some of your stuff. Line and MGTOW, what's going on, man? Yep, validation will not pay their rent. Western women had it good for too long. Maybe a struggle will do them good to remind them. I agree. Do, 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 do. Now I see why I'm working on a pantry and clearing out a garage. Yeah, yeah. Like I said before, are they really planning like we are when it comes to a potential recession? No, no. Because once again, they expect us to save them. But here's the beauty of the internet. And here's the beauty of 2022. Men woke up. A lot of men woke up. So good luck. Good luck to even have a fraction of how good you have it right now. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, keep reading. Luis, God bless her, Yeetus. Nah, man, I'm just doing my part, man. I'm just explaining at least my point of view and see if you guys have any type of disagreements. Um, so when it comes to these type of conversations, man, they don't want us to have these. They don't, because if they did, I'll be able to have my own radio show, my own podcast, my own TV show. Okay, hell, I'll be able to make my own TV series. But of course, no, that goes against the narrative. So these are one of the only few places that we can actually have these conversations. Do 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 do. Be careful, female might come to your house, so use other methods of storing food. Yeah, use other methods to store food, and if that happens, uh, don't tell anybody where you put your supplies. Not even your own family. Don't tell them because loose lips sink ships. You don't want to risk that if things happen. So Joshua, keep up the great work, brother. Unity is one of the guiding forces to a better tomorrow. Exactly. And that's why I constantly say they don't want us to have these conversations as men. They don't. They don't. And it's hilarious. And I showed you guys in a few memes prior. Okay. Women are able to go online 24/7, 365, and bash men as much as they want, as much as they want, with no repercussions whatsoever. And literally, they're able to go online, go on TV shows, go on talk shows, and they can say all men can go die for I care, and nothing will happen. And just imagine if a man said all women can go die for all I care. Oh, the backlash. Oh man, he will be canceled to oblivion. To oblivion. It is the audacity of the countless double standards that us men have to deal with because, like we say before, if women did not have double standards, they would have no standards at all. None. Yep. Nixon talks. What's going on, man? What's going on? If it favors men, it's sexist, but if it favors women, it's applauded. I agree. And that's why I always explained before. Goalposts, gentlemen. Goalposts. They love to move the goalposts whenever it sees fit. As long as it fits their wants and needs, they're going to move the goalposts wherever they see fit. All right. That's why, the loyalty that women claim to have, I refuse to believe that anymore. I refuse. I refuse. Especially what, like I said, what happened with the Ukraine. I've seen the comparisons of what men have to go through in war and then what women have to go through in war, which is they're not in war at all. They're already on dating apps looking for another man to latch on. And I guarantee you a lot of them have boyfriends or husbands or fiancés that are currently fighting or died on the battlefield. I'm telling you, gentlemen, it's just hey, it is what it is. They're willing to sleep with the enemy before your body turns cold. A man is way likely, because once again, he's a man, and men we have concept of values, morals, ethics, etc. Being able to stay there and fight side by side if need be, if it is a noble cause. Not saying that there's no cowards out there. I'm sure, of course, there's plenty of cowards, cowardly men, of course. But when it comes to a man or men uniting for a good cause, that's when revolution happens. That's when a renaissance happens. Why do you think that there's no gentlemen clubs anymore? Why do you think that channels like mine gets yeeted left and right? They don't want men to get together and actually talk about the important things. They want us to keep our eyes glued on Instagram models, quote unquote, on OnlyFan models, on the uh, adult film industry. They want us to keep our heads focused on that, being a wage slave to wife and kids that doesn't even appreciate you in the first place. They only see you as a walking ATM. Arcanite, there is a difference between bravery and stupidity, my friends. I definitely agree. There's a time and a place. Okay. On top of that, there's some battles you have to choose your battles. Okay, you're not gonna win them all. No matter how macho and how manly and masculine you can be, there's always battles that you're not gonna win, and you clearly can't win. So don't go in and beat your chest like you're Hercules, and then the next moment you're like, oh, why do I see Saint Peter? See, okay, when it comes to OnlyFans and Instagram and all that stuff, both Ukrainian women and Russian women had issues doing the OnlyFans thing once the war started. That was their main concern. That was their main concern. They couldn't do OnlyFans, or they couldn't get the income that they earned through OnlyFans or whatever adult film things that they've done. Yet, I'm seeing countless pictures of littered bodies everywhere of both Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. What does that tell you, gentlemen? What does that tell you? Women flee. I just got an ad to bring over and marry Ukrainian women I never met. You must be joking with that ad. Can't YouTube use it algorithm to see a red pill this fuck? Yeah, probably. Like they would marry them right now. Come on. I know you want a middle-aged Ukrainian. She only has 3 kids. Come on. Come on, put a ring on it. Oh boy. Yeah, like we already accept it for what it is. Model women, they don't want equality, they want equity. They don't want equal responsibility and accountability. They want equal outcome. So regardless on what they do, they want the same thing that men do, even though we do majority of the hard work. Ain't that grand? Ain't that grand? All right. I think we did pretty good so far. I'll start inviting people in right now. It's pretty early, but we got this. But before we start the conversation, and we won't have a lot of people in the live stream this time because it got pretty chaotic when I put in 10 people. If you want to support your boy, Sir Yeetus, if you want to support the Warband, there's 2 links on top of the chat. And you can donate to PayPal.me/Sir Yeetus or Cash App/Sir Yeetus. Or if you want to super chat, super thanks, or you just want to watch, I don't care. I don't care. Okay, it's all up to you. As long as you listen to what I got to say and then give me some feedback, that's the most important right there. Okay, I'm going to start spamming this right now. I'm going to spam. Too late for the monologue? Yeah. I just got done, but we can definitely continue the conversation. Warband don't hate Sims. Learn to profit off of them. No, I despise Sims. I hate Sims so much. Like I don't like Sims. They're literally the main reason why everything is going to shit. uh, they're not the only reason, but they're the main reason. I will forever hate Sims, and they will give me the drive to continue making these type of content. Hopefully, eventually, their eyes will open up. But until then, nah, they're the enemy in my eyes. So, all right, start adding people. Dax the dog, what's going on, man?
Roof Puniti, Yeetus, my man.
I hope you're doing good. And I'm going to add Single Town Bachelor. What's going on, man?
Not much, but you're actually right in that. When the enemy is at the gates, women tend to sleep with the enemy. We've been occupied by the Nazi Germany in the 40s, so and there were a group of women who spread their legs, and some of them paid the price of it. And the ultimate price for some of them, but ridicule and especially their kids got ridiculed even when they were adults in the 70s. Yeah.
Hey, I understand what you're saying, man, but we're going to start with the topic for today. Yeah, I'm starting with Dax. Dax.
Yeah, it's funny you mention crabs in a bucket because, I've noticed that, that's, first of all, that's something that's particularly prominent in not just amongst women, but amongst the black pill community. I've noticed that in particular. It's like any kind of, content that you view from the black pillars is like, oh, it doesn't matter what you do. You shouldn't bother self-improving because it's not going to do shit. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I can see, that sort of reflection in, the mentality of women as a collective, because they try to bring each other down as well.
Mainly through coping, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I work, where I work, my department is roughly, I'd say it's about 2/3 women. And so, naturally, I kind of listen in on some of their conversations sometimes because some of them are loudmouth bitches and they can't keep it amongst themselves. But
I'm shocked.
Oh man, yeah, like I couldn't tell you some of the shit that I've heard, and in the back of my mind, I'm just going, Jesus Christ, I almost want to just leave the building at this point. But bro, yeah, I've heard some shit, and I've heard some diarrhea.
So, what about the seething and coping? Have you noticed it getting a little bit more interesting the past few months?
As a matter of fact, yes. I follow other creators such as yourself, and a lot of them will post like TikTok videos of chicks that'll basically be. There's a whole bunch of shit these chicks talk about, but a lot of it will boil down to like, say they got ghosted by a Chad that they were like banging for a little while, and then they make this TikTok video of like, oh well, I didn't want him anyway because men are toxic douchebags, so bye, and shit like that. I could probably pull up some videos right now for that matter, but
it's easy content. It's just so many videos out there right now with women whining, crying, moaning, all that stuff about what's happening. And guess who wants to guess which group of people they want to do all the work to fix everything that's happening?
Los hombres, the dudes.
Yep, just the dudes, right? Because and once again, I'm gonna keep bringing up this example over and over. They love to say, "Oh, we need to do something. We need to go over there and help Ukraine. We need to go. We need to go." I'm like, why don't you go?
Yeah.
Why do I gotta go? Like, what do you mean we? Where's this we coming from? I'm chilling. Like, what's happening halfway across the world? Is that really my issue? No, not really.
They say the same shit here in Denmark. They say the same shit. The funny is that I don't know whether or not there are 50% in parliament, but some of the politicians actually or political parties are feminized in a way that most of them are adding the numbers up so that they have what the hell is called? They have more take on the women's issues. So when the war came up about Ukraine, oh okay, and I just wrote on it. You can go. Nobody said a word about anything because no, we all equal, right? Some more than others.
Yep. Like you said, it's all about equity. They want equal outcome. They do not want to put in the work.
Nah.
They want a life of leisure. That's what I pretty much am getting when it comes to women in 2022. They don't want to lift a finger yet get just as much or even more than what men are getting.
Well, if they immigrate, American women are immigrating to Denmark, they'll get a shock of their life because women here are actually brought up by saying you're gonna make it your own. So you're gonna work until retirement. So no gravy train for you.
Nope, none. I definitely do not. I did not. Okay, I'm never going to expect majority of women to actually save up and be prepared for these type of situations, right? That's why a good amount of men here, we're not really that worried about what the recession happening per se. Like,
Nope.
we are definitely more prepared than the women out there is just living their best life, right? Sex in the City, and then
yeah, the bag.
yep, and then bam, borders close, missiles start flying left and right, freaking martial law, food is scarce, FEMA camps,
Yeah.
like what's happening? What's happening? Like, hey, you're on your own, it's a yippee-ki-yay situation now. Let's go. It's boogaloo time.
Yeah.
Yep. And how do you,
3
how do you
months
think,
after. Sorry.
how do you think all of these staunch feminists, who especially the ones who have this mentality of women are strong, women are independent, how do you think in that sort of scenario you just described, how do you think they're all going to start reacting? Do you think they're going to maintain that fucking brick wall frame that they try to put on? I highly doubt it.
They're going to fold like a lawn chair. They're not going to do anything. They're
Take a look
literally
at Survivor.
like, what can they do? They can't really fend off men on their own, and plus we got a bunch of men and women going door to door trying to survive, right? Food will be scarce, medicine will be scarce, electricity will be out, plumbing probably won't be doing as good.
It's interesting you say they can't fend off men too, which is something I try to point out to a lot of, like, I've come across women before who say that like they could take a dude in a fight. I'm like, even if you are like, say, someone like an MMA fighter, like Ronda Rousey, even then, the average dude on the street who's like 5'9" and 160 pounds and has like no prior fighting experience, he could probably take you down.
Yeah, even Ronda Rousey, she admitted herself.
Like, did she?
She knows that she can't go around and take on men. Yeah, she said in an interview. I should be able to bring it up, but
I think it was Joe Rogan.
Was it on Joe Rogan or was it on? I think it was Jimmy.
I don't know, but she have talked about her then boyfriend losing a match, and she lost everything for him because he cuddled up as a ball because of
see.
He get a nasty flinch or something, and then he just lost it. So yeah.
Here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. I think the women, they believe they could take on a man that's, soy filled, beta cuck, 100 pounds, soaking wet, right? They like to eat a lot of other men's zinc, and it's just they believe they could take. Yeah, they believe they could take those type of men on, right? But I'm like, if an average man or a man that's actually very strong or trained in any type of martial arts,
Mhm.
if he wanted to take you down, he would throw you around like a rag doll. It would just be at the most seconds to take you down.
Yeah. I saw something. I can't recall who it was that put it up there, but it was. I think it was in California, where some broad assaulted a guy, and he just pushed her back and said, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" And then all her friends, and you know, then she started slapping him. They said, "What?" And they ultimately went onto the beach and just rolling around in the sand. I said, "Jesus Christ!" Just because she had pussy privilege, I would slap her silly.
And there's only a select few of women out there that are actually pretty strong. I ain't gonna take that away from them. Okay, there's actually I think it's in Polish chicks. I think it is Polish or okay. I'll say around Polish or Russian chicks. They can become pretty strong if they got the right genes.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's only a select, like a very small. But
So it was funny to watch. Um, they rolling around and doing something, and then her friends group full of girls and starting to yell something about this. I just wondered, what would happen to their reaction and their vicious outburst of vile against him. What would they do if he just said, "Okay, took her in the upper buttock and then slapped her face silly and said, "Now you gotta stop right now." And so that's what feminism have done to women. They no man should touch me because I'm a female. Well, then you should not touch any man the same way. Um, we are equal. So
let me stop you, single tone. I wish all the men in this chat get married to a decent woman and have kids. No. Holy moly. Okay, I got a lot of people joining.
The thought behind that is a good one, and I greatly appreciate the sentiment. But man, like that's like asking that we all win the lottery at this point.
We got to live in reality, unfortunately. But single time bachelor, what do you have to say to the Warband before I move on to the next person?
well, you can always say the sacred word. You know what it is? Puniti.
Puniti.
All right. So we're going to add another person.
Who we got?
All right. We're going to have MGTOW Cowboy.
MGTOW Cowboy, how you doing, brother?
No.
Yes, gentlemen, how are we?
Oh,
Very
we are
good, sir.
doing phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Okay.
I was going to
Grandiose,
ask somebody,
amazing.
but they left. All right. Then I'm going to add Angry Yeeted Fetus.
Oh, Jesus.
Yo, what's good?
How you doing,
How
man?
y'all boys
That
doing?
name, though.
I love it.
Yeah. Hey, wait, hold on, let me. All right. Yo, MGTOW Cowboy, did you get in your thoughts?
No, not
I'm
yet. I
sorry.
just invited
Okay.
him right now.
Okay.
So, MGTOW, how do you feel about the topic?
I'm sorry. What exactly is the topic of discussion this afternoon?
So, pretty much the coping and seething of Western women or modern women in general, and in turn, they become crabs in a bucket to other women, mainly younger women. So it goes hand in
Okay.
hand.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You actually cut out. You actually
right.
cut out serendipitously. Can you just repeat exactly what you just said?
It's all about coping and seething among modern Western women, right? So in turn, they become crabs in a bucket with other women, mainly younger women, so they can feel validated in their cope. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay. So to that, I would say I don't know who said this, but I think it's very well worded. Women would prefer to reign in hell than serve in heaven. I think that speaks to their nature. So yeah, sure. I guess you could say that they are very much crabs in a bucket. I think that women are secretly very envious of men. They're envious of they're jealous and envious of our natural ability, and some of them especially, they actually want to see us ground down to you could call it to a state of slavery or servitude.
Yep.
Definitely.
So I boiled it down all the way down to it's just penis envy at the end of the day on why all this is even happening. Uh, it's not the only reason, but I believe it's just that's the main reason because they know in the bottom of their hearts, in the back of their minds, they cannot survive without men, and that just pisses them off.
Um, yeah, yeah. How I would say it like this: men want women, but we don't need them.
Yep,
Women need men, but they don't want us.
I
So
agree.
it's this. It's truly a wicked game that Mother Nature plays on us. Um,
Oh, wait! I got to correct you. They want Chad Tyrone.
well, yes, right. No, especially when they're young, right? That's you're referring to the female dual mating strategy, otherwise known as what's it called? Alpha seed beta need, or alpha. You know what?
Oh,
Alpha fucks and beta bucks. I don't know if I
yeah,
can swear on this line.
you're good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, the major. I'm actually going to dip out. I'm sorry. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and you guys are doing real good work, especially you. I keep up with your channel. Um, I just wanted to mention, today's my day off. Right? I have Tuesdays and Thursdays off. I just filled up my gas tank, and it was over $40. I drive a tiny little car.
Uh,
It's a 2014 Chevy Spark. It's the tiniest little car you've ever seen. It looks like, you guys remember from the past. You guys remember those smart cars? Remember those?
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My car is so small. People they've mistaken it for the smart car, even though it's not that small. The point I'm trying to make is, I remember when I first got my car, it cost me like $20 to fill up the tank, and I don't know. I just want to say, man, screw, f you, Joe Biden, because this is no,
Drink to
no.
that.
My gas. I've gone from $1,000 a year in gas to probably 2,000 a year, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm ranting. I'll leave you, gentlemen. It's you doing good work, Yeetus, and Puniti to one and Puniti to all, and you guys all take care. All right.
All right, man. Peace out.
Likewise, brother Puniti.
All right. So, what is your point of view? What's your perspective, angry
Um,
fetus?
well, after being a longtime fan, all of this is, to be expected. I'm not surprised anymore. I mean, when I first heard the truth, it was shocking. I was like knocked off my socks. But nowadays, all of this, it just is what it is. I just come to accept it. Nothing you can really do to change. But I wanted to ask. I know this is a little off topic, but I wanted to ask you a question, like just a little like geographical advice. So,
What's up?
you were earlier you were explaining how when it gets real bad, there might even be like missiles flying. So right now, like I'm within, let's just say I'm relatively close to Miami. I have a feeling that might be a place they might hit. Isn't it like how it goes is they usually target major cities monuments and like bases. Isn't that
Yes.
how it usually goes?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to confirm if that was so because now I know I'm in deep shit right now. So but um I remember you saying that it won't be sudden, right? It'll be gradual. Like things will start gradually getting bad, right?
Depends on what happens in the next
Oh
few
God.
years.
I'm hoping it's slow because I'm just, just leaving the house, just graduated. So I'm hoping because like I really need some time to get my shit together,
As long
Still living with my parents, but hmm
as long as you don't see the sun at 2 a.m., yeah, you'll be good.
yeah, true, man, true. Well, that's all I had to say. Thanks for your time though, Yeetus. God bless you guys. Take care, be safe out there.
Likewise,
Um,
man.
you know, and you know, just do what you can whenever you
Make
have a
sure you
chance.
work out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That's a must. Thanks, brother. All
Okay.
right, guys.
All
All right,
right.
man. Be
Peace out,
safe.
Poonie T. All right. Island Hermit, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. Thank you very much. Yeetus, did you see the new Predator trailer? He fights a 95-pound Native American. What? What?
I saw that post. I saw that post earlier. I had to contain my laughter.
No. Is this true? No.
I haven't heard about that, but today, Yeetus, I would not be surprised at all the bullshit Hollywood is churning out, man.
Imagine if this actually happened in real life. Like, you know, I just like, those bouncers that deals with a 5'2", 100-pound drunk woman, and she thinks that she can take them on.
Yes.
Like, get the hell away from me, little kid. Like, go home. Like holding her back with one finger.
Yeah, and the other bouncer's like, okay, I'm calling an Uber for this bitch right now.
But then they go too far and they get yeeted across the street, like literally, like woo.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta talk about something else quickly before we continue. You know they got Batman, right? They got him. They got him.
Actually elaborate because I'm not following Hollywood too much these days. Sorry.
Oh, he's part of the LGBT community now.
Oh shit! No, I heard about the Superman thing, but Batman? Oh, dude.
Yeah, I have the link to the video, and I'm like, all right, I guess this is when mainstream comics starts to die out now officially.
Isn't it interesting? It's like everything today has to have some kind of reference to the alphabet crowd. I'm just like, why?
Because they base their existence around their sexuality. That's why I am definitely not a fan of the phenomenon of grown ass men and women going to a room full of children, first, second, and third grade, or whatever it is, and be comfortable enough to talk about their sexual experiences to these kids.
Oh, seriously?
And make sure they say, don't let your parents know. Don't tell your parents.
Did you see the one about and I'm quoting here, this is the actual name of it, the rainbow dildo butt monkey that was trying to read a story to kids at a library?
Huh?
You haven't heard about that one?
No, is that a username or?
This was an actual, dude, I almost feel like looking it up and posting the link in the StreamYard because you got to see this. Like, this is a dude who's dressed up in this costume.
I heard. I think I saw that.
You saw it?
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. If I look it up, I'll definitely remember.
What gets me is that apparently the library greenlit this thing. Like they gave it the green light. Like, okay, he can come read for story time. And then the headline for the article I read was like, the library is receiving criticism and backlash for doing that. I'm like, I hope to dear God they'd receive hell amounts of backlash. I'm like, you've got a dildo talking to children.
I'm definitely going to call out the nonsense in the future, man. I'm gonna make a whole live stream again because I did call it. It will be a Let Kids Be Kids Part 2 for sure. Because ever since after I've done that live stream, there's a whole wave of new things that happened. We need to start calling them out because how are we not modern day Sodom and Gomorrah at this point?
Oh, we are, man. It's just the only difference is the name and the time frame at this point.
Exactly. And I already know they're just going to be not pushing, but they're going to keep putting their toes in the water over and over again until they feel safe enough to jump right on in with their vile, degrading ways, if you know what I'm talking about. Can't really say, but
Oh, I know. Before you even said it, I knew you were going, and obviously,
yeah.
I don't want to jeopardize your channel. So I'm not going to say the word either. But mark my words, too. That is definitely going to be. And see, people try to say the slippery slope isn't real. I think we're seeing it's actually kind of real.
Right.
Because you remember how it started out. It started out as just, gays want to get married, and well, look where we are today.
Yep. Now we have drag queens dancing in front of high schoolers, I think it was, or middle schoolers. No, I think it was even earlier than that. There's actual videos, and they were comfortable enough to post it online. Literally, a drag queen show, like stripper pole in the strip club type dancing situation in front of kids. Do you know how quick I will sue the school into oblivion? Oh man, oh Lord, and that's just me being nice.
Oh,
I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go to jail over that. Best believe that.
Man, it would take everything I had to not show up to that school with like an AK-47 in hand. But I don't want to. I don't want to fall into that category. But yeah, the first thing I do is withdraw my kid and place him into a different school. And the second thing, I would definitely, like yourself, I would sue the shit out of them.
I definitely agree. But hey, before we continue with the topic today, if you want to support your boys here at Yeetus or the Warband, just being able to help me get my art collection going, because you guys are still going to have even more art coming in soon, more animations. Oh, it's going to look amazing. I scrapped a couple of things because it didn't really look that good. But we're doing things over right now. We'll make sure it looks good. If you want to support your boy, there's 2 links on top of the chat. Donate to PayPal.me/Yeetus or Cash App/Yeetus. Super chat, super thanks, or just listen to what I have to say. Okay, that's all that matters at the end.
Yes, remember, fellas, that green flame doesn't burn forever. You gotta feed it a few shekels here and there.
Exactly. But let me start adding people in. I don't know how to say your name. 1776.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on, dude? And we're gonna add Hebrew Israelite.
Yo, man. Yeah, to let you know, guys, keep your heads on a swivel, one ear to the ground and one ear to the eye, because shit's going down. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of shit's been going on.
Amen.
True. Yeah, I just want to add that I think the alphabet people, they have an agenda. Like I remember when I was in school, like there would be alphabet people would come into the class, like
yeah,
go.
Like,
talk about the sexual stuff and stuff,
Oh, you just leave? So okay.
Yeah, I guess you did leave. Yeah, but you see it today now more often and often. Like it used to be taboo, but now you see it in the movies and comics and other stuff. Like they're pushing like propaganda.
Yeah, I believe it as well, and I can go farther on this, but I can't because Susan will already take out my channel. But I will talk about it on Odyssey because it needs to be talked about. In the end, how do you feel about the topic that I'm saying of Western women these days, they're coping and seething a lot more than usual. And right now, they're trying to validate themselves by bringing younger women down with them, right? Middle-aged women, single, no kids, whatever. They're trying to tell these younger women, hey, you know, my life is great. It's awesome. You don't need a man.
For sure, man. Like it's a trap, you know. Like, like if I'm going down, I'm taking it with me.
It's crazy, man. It is insane. But do you have anything else to say to the Warband? Anything you want to say to them?
You can go ahead and move on to the next topic.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for joining, though.
Yeah, no problem.
Be safe out there, man.
All right. Do. Unknown Soul.
Yo, man, how's it been?
Oh, I'm just cruising right now. I'm just at this point, I'm just waiting for stuff to pop off, and I'm just writing down and putting up as much content as possible. All right, because
I got a little tidbit of information I learned recently today. The main reason why
get my channel banned.
No, it's not going to get your channel banned.
All right, just making sure. All right,
don't worry, I got you. But I ended up learning why a lot of high value, quotation marks, educated women tend to go for the thugs. I said it in chat and I'm going to say it here. Because they enjoy the power of knowing that a man of lower class can't say no. Because think of this. The thug is the one who didn't get to learn much of anything, has had to survive off his wits, possibly taking care of himself, all this stuff. But then this high value woman that has money comes into play, and well, does he really have any other options? Don't get me wrong, he could get to the next door neighbor girl, maybe girl at the library or something, but this woman with money, and it just goes into the part, and the biggest part about it, it goes into the ideology and thought process of why a woman cannot accept rejection. They want the power to make sure we can't say no.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's actually a very interesting thing that you brought up, because I was actually just thinking about that not long ago. Women love to talk about how men don't take rejection well, like, you know, oh, but I'm such a nice guy, and you know, but have you seen a woman get rejected by a dude that she was pining after? Holy hell. Like, it's a world of difference.
I don't know what video it was, but it was, I forget, this white lady with the big fake gazongas. And she got pissed that no one at the gas station was looking at her, calling everybody gay, all this stuff. And you just see her world go to sunders. I remember when I was in high school and I chose to ask a girl out just because a friend of mine was interested. And it was all because I went on this field trip to SeaWorld. But when my friend told me the next day, I decided to ask. She said no, didn't care less. But my friend told me I had balls of steel. The point is, we as men are bred to, how should I put it? We could get rejected 1,000 times, but if we manage to at least spark a small conversation or something, that's a win for us. But for women who don't even have that understanding of rejection, combined with, well, just being told no, that's when they lose all sense of reasoning, logic, and quite frankly, just losing their shit.
I have a small story. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, so when it comes to that situation, they lose their shit because they know that the puniti is all they have. All right. If they can't get you hooked on it, then they're pretty much powerless. That's why they freak out. But
and the thing I find insulting too is when it comes to just, again, the difference between a good man or a Chad Tyrone, and again, it's not trying to say all, but I'm talking about the difference between a good and a bad man, come to the fact that a good man who has worked all his life to achieve his goals, set up a good life for himself, didn't slack off. By feminist standards, he's expected to only get the bare minimum of love and connection, expected to have someone else's kids or pre-used puniti And then if she just so happens to fall out of love, I get to take all his stuff just because my feelings were hurt. And I'm just left with the great question they always love to ask: where did all the good men go? Here's the answer. It's not that there are no good men. There's an abundance of good men who know better than to fall for your lies and tricks. P.S. to all men in the chat all over, make sure if you're still going to be dealing with some females, she does not leave anything at your house. This is actually a psychological cue to where basically it says, oh, if I left something at that house, this is my space now. So if you're sending around all this, make sure she leaves nothing. This came from another source I met. And quite frankly, it's just startling when you begin to understand all the signs. It's bad enough that we now know one of nature's signs of toxicity in animals is if they have brightly colored features, aka brightly colored red, blue, pink, whatever color green hair they have that these feminists like to go crazy for. For a second, I almost thought they were trying to mimic anime, but the worst part is I'm even getting confirmed on that too.
Facts.
But hey, man,
they thirst trap constantly. Again, they're losing. They're getting desperate. When I see desperate, I'm talking about they'll be saying, "Oh, I watch anime games and all this stuff," because they're trying to get all the suckers in on this. Come on, the VTubing community. I don't say it to be mean. I go by, there's a reason why there are those who do get the money versus the ones who just thirst this stuff. There are a lot of men who just want a conversation to deal with some chill, have some chill time and fun. There are those that are doing the thirst trapping, whatever. But the thing I find funny when I hear about all the anger they get put towards VTubers versus the OnlyFans models comes from the fact that you're only offering sex. The problem is a man's only going to be horny for so long. There's a point when he just wants to not be thinking about the world, have some fun and other things. And at the end of the day, you wonder why they're making so much money.
Facts. Facts indeed.
Can you hear me?
Facts.
Oh, I can hear you. I was wondering if you
I'm
were
just putting
done.
it out there because they. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to give some factors I began to notice in on. Oh, and by the way, with Dennis Sperling, when speaking on the behalf of Kevin Samuels recently, there was a raid held on this one lady who's actually been trashing his name, and it was funny as hell just clowning on her because it was live on both ends. And you're not going to find the chat log because that thing's hitting. But I was laughing so hard today because I was spitting so many facts in there. I swear I had to cut at some part of her ego. It was funny as shit.
What we gotta do. Yeah, that's what we gotta do out here.
Well, God bless to you and the Warband. If you need to get someone else in, go ahead. I just wanted to still spit whatever I can bring up because when I'm seeing the stuff going on, especially that they got Hammerhand's channel recently, and they're getting aggressive as all hell. They're hating this. All I'm saying is, to everyone here, get your passports. It's time to move along. Let them have their fun with whatever Sims they can control while you find your way in another part of the world. All right? God bless to you. God bless to the Warband. Puniti, my brothers.
Puniti.
Puniti. Whew.
His preach game was on point. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let him do his thing. Whew. Thought I was at a sermon for a second. I bet he was sweating. He was like wiping off the sweat off of his forehead and shit.
He wasn't wrong though, you know.
No, he wasn't wrong at all. Oh no, he was definitely on point. But Dax, you said that you had a story to say?
Oh yeah, as he was mentioning the fact that women don't take rejection very well. That immediately shot me into some flashback mode because so basically several years back, this was long before I started getting truly red pilled, but I dated this girl And the important part here is the context of the night we met. So the night we met was at this event, and this event held a dance later on in the evening. It was me and my boy, and we ran into my girl and her friend at the time. We started hanging out on the dance floor. We were dancing and whatnot, getting to know each other. And then me and my boy had a hotel room at the hotel. So, we all four of us went up there, and we hung out at our hotel room. We smoked a little bit of bud, just laughing, having a good time. And long story short, at the end of the night, as they were leaving, we exchange contact info and whatnot. And so, as I got in contact with like the girl who I'm referring to, she was, she was a little skeptical at first about whether or not I actually liked her. And I told her, well, I liked both of y'all that night. I was just trying to, keep the flow, just make sure, we're all just hanging out and, everything's cool. And she's like, but I was, I was giving you signs that I liked you. I'm like, okay, how exactly? And she couldn't really give me an answer. She was very vague about it. She was like, well, what about those things I was saying to you on the dance floor? I'm like, what were you saying to me? And she could never give me any actual good answer. But so eventually, we started, hanging out more. We eventually started dating. We eventually, became, a couple, an official relationship couple. And throughout the entire time we were together, she would constantly find a way to bring it up. The context of the night we met. It was like, oh, you were so into my friend that night and not me. I'm like, no, that's not true at all. She's like, yes, it was. Yes, it was. I was so into you that night and you just wanted nothing to do with me. I'm like, that's not true at all. Like I said, I liked both of you. It's like,
assuming will make an ass out of you and me. Okay. Stop assuming.
Right. And see, it just goes to show like our whole relationship was founded on a grudge that she held against me because she always thought that the night we met, I rejected her. Like that I wasn't, interested in her. I'm just like, and this girl, like, first of all, this girl is a pretty girl. I mean, she did modeling for a little while. She was not ugly, I'll tell you that. And she's had like, a bunch of dudes before me. So I can tell you right now, she's probably used to getting what she wants. She's used to like all the male attention and all that kind of shit. So it's like all of a sudden she meets this dude she's into and, he doesn't respond to her advances, quote unquote. And, she flips her shit. She can't take it. It's like, wait, what? I didn't get what I wanted that night? Well, now I'm going to make him suffer because, oh boy, did she make me suffer that entire time we were together.
Yeah, how do I say? Women, they remember things that made them feel bad a lot better. I'm sure it happens with both genders, but I notice it happens with women a lot more, where they're able to recall the day that she believes that you wronged her very vividly, and definitely would not let that go whatsoever, no matter what you try to tell her, right? She can't shake it off. She doesn't believe you. Her ego was slashed down. You pretty much gave her a humble pie, even though you didn't do anything, right? This is just a scenario she made up in her own head, and they don't like, how do I say, the fact that you didn't validate her, and the fact that the fact that she feels that you didn't validate her and you went after her friend. I don't know how pretty is her friend, prettier than her, just as good. I don't know. It just, oh, what's up?
I'd say they were about equal. Like, I mean, her friend was probably a little bit like cuter in a sense, but I'd say she was a bit hotter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but her insecurities were already there in the first place. Women, okay. So there's a couple of videos out there I made. I probably deleted it. There's women that will literally make a scenario in their head without even making conversation with you. Like, you don't know she exists, but she's making a whole scenario in her head to the point where she can literally hate you because of the scenario she made up.
Oh yes,
I'm like,
yes,
what?
bro. The number of times that I heard this chick that she and I would get into random bouts of drama that she would bring up, and it would be over like absolutely freaking nothing. And when she'd tell me like what the cause of it was, I would just be going to myself like, what in the shit is this girl talking about? Because we as men, like, dude, unless you're just completely freaking brain dead, we as men know in our rational minds when we have like truly done something wrong. We know.
I agree.
And the number of times that she and I would get into fights over some random shit she just cooked up. I mean, I could give you a bunch of examples, but just suffice it to say, like, it blows my mind how much gaslighting this shit. I think I was a stove with how much gaslighting this bitch did. Like, bro.
Holy shit. I definitely know how you feel, man. Just like what Bill Burr said, if they're wrong, they go rogue. And they just not really focusing on trying to apologize for being wrong. They're just gonna continuously try to low blow you with like, well, that's why your uncle's in jail because he's a piece of shit. Like,
oh yeah,
what does that have to do with anything that we're talking about right now? That's pretty much how you know she's wrong.
Oh yeah, dude. No, trust me, I've got a history with girls, and like, yeah, the number of things that they'll look for to try and like take a jab at you is, oh man, like they'll look for any freaking crack in the wall they can find.
It is funny, but not surprising, because if they're unable to get the moral high ground, once again, they will crabs in a bucket you and drag you down to their level. It happens all the time. If they can't be morally superior than you in the argument or the situation, they will drag you to their level with their constant low blows until they rattle you and piss you off so bad that you say some dumb shit as well, right?
Yes.
Gaslighting and just intentionally pissing you off.
Oh yeah, and believe me, I've been on the receiving end of that more times than I care to remember.
They have no boundaries. No, they don't. Men do, but women don't. Why? Once again, I love Bill Burr because as much as he's married now with a child and all that stuff, whatever, it is what it is. He says some very red pill things, right? The only reason why women don't have any boundaries is because we can't defend ourselves.
Right.
That's it.
And it's funny you mentioned Bill Burr because I've actually been meaning to ask you, Yeetus. Are you familiar with Patrice O'Neal?
Who isn't familiar with Patrice O'Neal?
That's I was hoping to hear, my man. So it's funny with what you just mentioned about how women don't watch what they say. One of Patrice's famous quotes was, this was in that debate he had with that frickin' Russian doctor chick, whoever the hell she was, I forget her name, but it's like he says to her, it's like, men, we have a filter between our brain and our mouth, and that filter, we always have to watch, what we say, so that we say what people want to hear. Women don't have that. It's because at the end of the day, they're women, and they know that people are going to frickin' back them up, especially simps.
Exactly. They have no need to have a filter because who's going to hold them accountable?
Right. I see our boy Chronic is in the chat.
Yes, Lord Chronic, he has made it. He is here to bless us with some of his kush if he's willing to share.
Well, I just cracked open a beer, so this one's for you, Chronic.
Oh, I plan on doing that today or tomorrow. Crack open some cold ones. Oh yeah. But do you have anything to say to the Warband?
There's a lot I could say of the Warband, but basically, fellas, especially you fellas in the chat, like, those of you that are new or have not too familiar with this whole red pill circle of common interests, guys, as has been said already, go to the gym, start prepping, stock up on whatever kind of provisions you can, whether it be food, guns, ammo, supplies of any kind, you name it, because we really have no idea where shit's going at this point. And I know you could preach that all day, Yeetus. I'll just say it as well alongside to confirm it. Like, we have no idea what the next, even just the next 2 years from now are going to look like. So, fellas, stay strong, stay vertical, and as always, don't forget, Poo Niti.
Poo Niti. Oh, all right, gentlemen. I think we can end it on this note. All right. It was a pretty quick live stream, nothing too crazy. It's just something that I wanted to talk about. I just thought about this topic today. But if you haven't heard from before, it's going to be some good things happening to this channel. All thanks to you guys' donation. I should do shout outs for donations after this, because a lot of you guys has been donating for a while now, and I never really gave you a proper thank you, because I honestly never thought this channel will get far. And right now I am gaining a lot of subscribers. I am pretty hyped about what's going to happen with it within the next few months. Okay. Thank you, everybody that decided to donate or like the video or just listen to what I got to say, because it's very important to have these conversations. This is Sir Yeetus. Hopefully you guys had a nice conversation with me, got some gems, and I'll definitely talk to you guys later. I am out. Peace.